Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's wildlife authorities are investigating a series of social media videos apparently showing the aftermath of an attack on a wombat. A man brags about punching the weak animal as its bloody, lifeless body hangs on the front of a car. And a warning, we have blurred parts of the video, but it's still confronting to watch.
This is the video now at the centre of an investigation.
I've just punched the out of the wombat.
This Snapchat sequence showing a bloodied wombat on the bonnet of a car after a man brags about punching it.
You weak.
I just feel for the animals that are involved in this at the time, because they are defenceless. We spend our lives trashing their habitat as it is, and yet there are people out there deliberately hurting them.
Details of the incident aren't fully clear, with the video only showing the aftermath. Dipipui says any deliberate harming of wildlife is unacceptable and all reports are taken seriously.
Whether it's a wombat, whether it's a wallaby, whether it's a common animal, and whether it's an endangered species, it's the act that is the issue.
Wombats are a protected species, with their numbers dwindling in some areas of the state. Staff here say they've seen a rapid increase in the number of injured animals they're caring for every year.
Maybe it's more a case that people are reporting these sort of cases, which should be great if that is, but I certainly haven't seen as many cruelty cases as we've seen this year.
Authorities left investigating this latest case, with anyone with information urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Tourism Tasmania is launching its latest advertising blitz, showing off some of our most picturesque landscapes and unique experiences. But the campaign comes as Tourism Tasmania recovers from a scandal about the culture within the organisation.
A peaceful early morning sunrise soaring above Tasmania's rugged coastline. This is just one of several short clips featured in a new $5 million multimedia campaign, Tasmania Come Down for Air.
We're using moments in time in Tasmania to spread that deeper understanding and that richer understanding of what Tasmania has to offer these customers.
Also touching on darker attractions at places like Mona in a bid to draw in more tourists amid a recent decline in international visitation.
There is slowing growth. There's certainly consumer confidence challenges and there's great competition. So we need to be ever vigilant, and this brand gives us an opportunity to take the next step.
As Tourism Tasmania launches the campaign, it's recovering from a leaked 2016 report revealing a poor working culture within the organisation described as a boys' club. But the CEO says things have since changed.
We've done an enormous amount of work with our people. We've changed our executive team in that time. Now we have more women than men on our executive, as we do on our board and as we do in our organisation.
Labor has criticised the government's response, with the Tourism Minister admitting he hasn't seen the report.
This government has provided very little detail, and they have a track record of sitting on reports and hiding information.
I've not seen the report, but I've had numerous discussions with the agency. The ongoing management, the support of the staff at Tourism Tasmania remains a paramount concern, and in fact the organisation has been strengthened.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
A 33-year-old man charged with the alleged murder of teenager Billy Ray Waters has appeared in the Launceston Supreme Court. Christopher Lee Brown has previously pleaded not guilty to killing the 19-year-old, whose body was found in bushland near Mayfield in August. 2 youths have also been charged. Mr. Brown was remanded in custody and will reappear on the 18th of November. A man riding an allegedly stolen bike led police on a chase throughout Newtown this morning. The dirt bike was dumped near the hockey centre before the rider made off on foot. Searches continued before the alleged offender was arrested near the intersection of Park and Bishop Streets. The 20-year-old man has been charged with evade police and other offences. Also at Newtown, police say a man broke into a Clare Street unit early on Sunday morning, threatening the occupants with a knife and then stealing their vehicle. It's alleged the stolen car then rammed a police vehicle. A man was arrested and has been charged with aggravated burglary, carjacking and evade police. 2 adults and 2 youths are in police custody tonight in relation to an alleged aggravated burglary at a Carlton residence this afternoon. Police say the group fled by car after being spotted by the occupants at the Joseph Road property. They were then arrested near Sorrel shortly after. Police are now calling for witnesses to come forward.
We'd just like to hear from anyone who saw a small blue vehicle with a female and maybe 3 young males in and around the Carlton Dodgers Ferry area this morning or in the previous days.
Information can also be provided anonymously through Crime Stoppers. An initiative encouraging skilled migrants to move to regional areas has brought more than 600 people to Tasmania in the past 3 months. The federal government's skilled visa scheme was designed to boost regional Australia, encouraging people out of the cities. The new data revealed the visas granted for people who moved to Tasmania have more than doubled since this time last year. A man has been lucky to escape serious injury after fleeing a burning bus at Low Head early this morning. Fire crews arrived at a caravan park just after 4:30 a.m. to find the bus fully ablaze.
There was an elderly gentleman had been suffering some smoke inhalation at the time. They administered some oxygen to him and then fought the battle, which was quite fierce at the time.
The owner was taken to hospital for monitoring. The cause of the blaze is yet to be determined. A cleaning company has been accused by unions of playing dirty after demanding its workers take weeks of unpaid leave. Contract cleaners at the University of Tasmania have been told they won't be working the weeks over Christmas and will be sent home without a cent. But the company insists the claims are incorrect.
She spent 7 years keeping the campus clean, but Charmaine Quarrell is preparing to go a month without pay.
I have a son that's got Leavers dinner in December. I have car payments, house payments that you have to pay, so it's going to be a really struggle.
More than 60 cleaners are employed full and part-time at the University of Tasmania. Contractor GJK Facilities has told them they won't be needed for a fortnight over Christmas. But the union says a change in contract means most cleaners don't have leave owing and will be forced to take it unpaid.
It's low, it's cruel, it's mean. They've just been through a 6-month probationary period where they're very uncertain about whether they'll actually keep their job.
In a statement, GJK said it had put a proposal to the union and was waiting a reply, while the university only added GJK was responsible for its staff and entitlements. The union wants it to intervene.
No one should have to struggle, especially when you've got a permanent part-time job.
Because it's going to be a month, not a fortnight with no pay, because you've got to come back and work that 2 weeks.
The matter could end up before the Fair Work Commission. Melissa's message to management:
these guys are going to have a happy Christmas and things like that. We won't.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
To some developing news now, and a serious crash between a car and a bike has closed a lane of the Bass Highway in the state's northwest. Sean McComish joins us now live from the scene. Good evening, Sean. What is the latest?
Joe, emergency services were called to the intersection of Stowport Road and the Bass Highway just after 4:30 this afternoon. The serious crash occurred between a truck and a cyclist. It's believed one person has been taken to hospital. It's not known what their condition is. The site is a known black spot, and it's not the first time a collision has happened here. The highway has just reopened to traffic. Crash investigators are now on the scene trying to determine just what went wrong. Joe?
OK, thank you very much for that report. Sean McComish joining us there. The war on waste is extending in Tasmania, with another council signing on to a food and organics collection service. It's hoped the scheme will divert more than 3,000 tonnes of organic compostable waste from going into Hobart's landfill.
For Jacinta and daughter Sasha, composting their food and organic waste is a regular household chore.
If we put our kitchen waste in the bin, we will fill a wheelie bin, whereas if we compost it, we put barely anything in the bin. So it's a huge amount of waste from our house.
Well, it's good keeping compost out of landfill.
The task's set to be made easier with the Hobart City Council rolling out a food and garden organic recycling service, accepting kitchen scraps, meat and even pet waste.
Every household's going to be receiving a little kitchen caddy, which is quite a neat little unit. And you'll be able to put your food scraps in that and then take it down and put it into your green bin that you're using at the moment for your garden scraps.
The change coming as part of the council's aim to achieve zero waste to landfill by 2030.
About half of the average household bin is actually made up of food waste, and that's waste that is currently going to landfill but is actually a really important resource.
Launceston City Council rolled out their service 2 years ago. It says the uptake from locals has exceeded expectations and estimates it's saving $250,000 per year in landfill costs. With FOGO collections, the waste has turned into a valuable resource, nutritious compost for garden beds.
That can go back into becoming a fertiliser to be used for food production in the future.
The service is rolling out across Hobart next month, while Glenorchy is set to introduce FOGO collection next year. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Motorists seem to have heeded warnings, with no drivers being towed on day one of a crackdown on illegal parking in clearways. In a bid to bust traffic congestion, these new signs on Hobart's Macquarie Street coming into effect at 6:30 this morning. Anyone caught blocking the lane in morning peak hour will now be towed on the spot, facing hefty fees to get their vehicle back. A fight to raise the rate of New Start is the focus of Anti-Poverty Week, which was launched in Hobart this morning. Representatives from local service providers banding together to raise awareness for those in the community doing it tough. They were joined by a local singer-songwriter who shared her experiences of growing up in poverty through music.
I guess it might give a bit of hope to everybody out there that there's still hope for people to hear them and that something might change.
Events will be occurring across the state this week.
The Tasmania Devils have named a new coach to replace the outgoing Adrian Fletcher. Cameron Joyce will take the reins of the NAB League side after spending 11 years at North Melbourne. He's also held roles at West Coast and Richmond. Joyce will start in his new job next month. Ariane Titmus has won her first race in the new International Swimming League. Titmus finished half a second clear of her Cali Condors teammate in the 400 metres freestyle at the league's 4th meet in Naples.
Well, look at this, Titmus being pushed by Marcalis. Cali Condors 1-2 again. 16
Titmus was faster in last week's meet but lost to rival Katie Ledecky, who didn't race last night.
Good evening. All bar the northwest hit above average highs today. Hobart the warmest with 25 degrees, Launceston 20, Burnie a bit cooler, 13 the top, and Devonport 16. I met some fellas from Stanley over the weekend and they refer to Stanley as the Gold Coast of Tasmania, but not today, living up to that. Stanley only 14 degrees. However, Grove and Ouse reached 23, Flinders Island 22, Friendly Beaches 21 and Strawn 20, St Helens 18 and King Island 17 degrees. Cloud associated with the trough moved over the state today, mostly this afternoon, and mainly covering the west and the south. A cold front is heading our way though over the Bight and has cloud extending to near our west coast. The cloud pattern south of the front indicates cold southwesterlies. Low and mid-level cloud is over Victoria, South Australia and southern New South Wales. Tomorrow the front crosses and clears the state, also affecting western Victoria. A high is south of WA as troughs continue over the mainland. The winds southwest to northwest at 10 to 20 knots. They'll tend east-southeasterly at 5 to 15 knots over the east coast before a strengthening there to 25 knots over the upper east in the evening. Forecast for tomorrow, showers on the way, mainly later in the day. Hobart 16, 15 for Adventure Bay, shower or two for Tarraleah 14. 20 the high for Launceston with a light shower, 17 the top for Devonport, partly cloudy for Bridport and 19. Burnie, a high of 17 with a shower developing later, a shower for Strawn and Marrawar, both on 15 degrees. And for the east, St Helens, rain at times, 16. Rain increasing over Swansea, same number there, and 17 the top for Whitemark. On Wednesday, showers over the north and east, developing statewide in the afternoon before contracting to the west and east by evening. More showers on Thursday, firstly over the north and west. They'll spread across the state for a time. And on Friday, showers again and snow to 800 metres. Partly cloudy in Perth, Melbourne and Brisbane tomorrow. Showers developing in Adelaide. Fine and sunny weather for Canberra and Sydney. Bit of cloud around, 14 in Hobart, 16 in Launceston, Devonport currently 13 degrees. My new friends from Stanley, Joe, like the way you read the news as well. So much so they're bringing you and me in a crayfish. That's allowed still, isn't it?
I don't think you were meant to say that on air.